Labdien!
Ladies and gentlemen, dear journalists, welcome to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Let us start the press conference following the meeting between the Foreign Affairs Minister of the Republic of Latvia and Foreign Affairs Minister of Azerbaijan, Elmar Mammadyarov. Dear colleagues, indeed, we just had a meeting with my Azerbaijani counterpart. I'm happy to welcome you back to Latvia, first of all. Your visit, which is an official visit, has become a regular tradition between our two countries. We meet to exchange our views, and this visit also overlaps with a very symbolic year. This year, we celebrate the 25 years since the restoration of diplomatic relations between our two countries, and I was happy to receive the award of the Azerbaijani Foreign Service 100 years anniversary. So we not only had a working meeting, but we also had a reason to celebrate. As regards to the content of our today's meeting, we discussed the high-level dialogue, exchange visits of presidents. We also discussed the necessity to hold the Intergovernmental Committee meeting of Azerbaijan and Latvia next year. This time round it will take place in Riga. And we also had other issues to discuss. We talked about trade relations, and I'm happy to point out that we have a well-developing cooperation in transport and logistics sector. The aviation cargoes flowing between our two countries are increasing in volume, and we also talked about the necessity to encourage our national carriers to provide direct flights not only on seasonal basis or during the summer, but also to ensure that the direct flights are available throughout the year, all year round, and that would, of course, have a positive impact on business-to-business cooperation and tourism. We also discussed regional security, and I confirmed Latvia's position regarding Nagorno-Karabakh, and our partners are very well aware of our position, our firm stance on this issue. We think that this issue should be resolved based on international law and using diplomatic channels or means. We also discussed the EU-Azerbaijan cooperation. We talked about Azerbaijan's role or vision on cooperation as a member state of the Eastern Partnership, or a country of an Eastern Partnership program, and we also presented our vision as regards to the development of the cooperation in scope of the Eastern Partnership, how to enhance the economic and political dialogue between Azerbaijan and the EU, as well as bilateral political and economic dialogue between Azerbaijan and Latvia. Next year, we would like to see a stronger sectoral cooperation in the sectors such as energy, transport, ICT, and digital technologies. So this is where I should probably stop. I know that there are going to be questions, and I know that my colleague has also something to say. Please, Elmar, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, my dear friend Edgars. It's a great pleasure to be back to Riga, lovely place. And I think that Edgars right now inform you about quite intensive and cordial consultations which we held tete-a-tete, and then on the more wider meeting with including our delegations. I think that very important elements which I want to indicate that it's the relations between Azerbaijan and Latvia are based on this joint declaration of establishment of strategic partnership, which was signed in 2017 during a visit of my president Ilham Aliyev to Riga. And I think that if strategic partnership, it's precisely the way how we're considering our cooperation between our two countries. I express my appreciation to the very strong and vocal position of Latvia with regard of the major issue of travel to Azerbaijan, unresolved conflict with neighboring Armenia. And we're thankful to Latvia's position in all international institutions, as it was just said by Edgars, based on international law, and first of all, of course, the United Nations Security Council resolutions, which was adopted in this regard, and of course, based on the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and inadmissibility of internationally recognized borders. As I said, cooperation between Azerbaijan and Latvia of strategic importance, and what we need to do is strengthening our economic ties plus humanitarian ties, people-to-people contacts. On the economic issue, Edgars just mentioned that next year we're going to have the Intergovernmental Commission. It goes Intergovernmental Commission on Economic, Scientific, Technical, and Cultural Cooperation. And one thing is also important for bringing two nations closer to each other. Trade House of Azerbaijan was opened in Riga, in Latvia. I can give you some figures that about 164 million US dollars has been invested from Azerbaijan to Latvia in the recent years, and approximately 84 million US dollars has been invested by Latvia in Azerbaijan. And we are appreciating after the meeting that the significant growth of volume of trade between our two countries has been observed. Lately, in this regard, in 2017, the trade turnover increased from 8.7 to 15.6 million US dollars. Last year, 2018, the trade turnover passed the 22.4 million US dollars, and we're expecting the growth this year even more significantly. So another thing about people-to-people contacts, we also very much appreciated that around 150 citizens of Azerbaijan are studying in Latvian universities, and I think that it's a good figure. We're expecting that it will be also increased, as well as, unfortunately, I don't have number how many Latvians are studying in Azerbaijan's universities, if we have any. So, but we are ready to provide a scholarship and fellowship. We used to have this kind of system in Baku, in Azerbaijan, to inviting, particularly when we're talking about strategic partnership, of course, exchanging of students is one of the important elements. So far, I will stop here. And thank you very much, because the rest was Edgars said about Eastern Partnership, Azerbaijan, European Union, cooperation, Azerbaijan, NATO cooperation, and I think that within these institutions, we are very much also appreciated on substantial support by Latvia to Azerbaijan. Thank you.
Thank you. Ministers, we have time for a couple of questions. Latvian television, please. Toms Pastors.
Question for Minister Mammadyarov. Council of Europe just recently criticized Azerbaijan on its human rights record, and its human rights commissioner asked for a release of activists. What is your response to what she has said, and do you think that this criticism is founded? Thank you.
Should we take the other question or immediately answer?
Let's take this question.
Okay. Frankly speaking, I'm not so closely aware about what kind of criticism you are talking about. It happens from time to time that the commissioner of the Council of Europe are criticizing us or expressing some concerns. If you're talking about Dunya Mijatović criticism, then it was pretty long ago. Whenever it's criticized, it always needs to look inside of the story, what was happened and how it should be addressed. Generally speaking, I think that from time to time, criticism is sounding in the way one-sided, rather than it should be, if the criticism will be done, to address the overall situation with the human rights in the world, in the particular surface of the Council of Europe member states. And to some extent, I can tell you, turning into the way that the criticism on Azerbaijan with one particular case it can be acceptable. There's no angels in the world. But on the other hand, we wish that she will address her criticism to particular issue. For example, on conflict with Armenia, when we have 1 million of internally displaced people forcefully expelled from their houses. And to this extent, they always start saying, it's a part of negotiations, but you cannot keep your eyes closed on that. And thank you very much for your question. I hope that she will listen to my response to that and my call and urge her that if you are talking about the same person and the same criticism, that if she wants to be as honest as she should be, so he should address the issues of those who suffered from that, rather than picking up of one case and start saying that this is the person who is suffered from the criticism from government. We have what we have in Baku. We have, as I said, people who forcefully expelled, and we are living in the 21st century, and no one is trying to not address this issue and close their eyes on that. That's totally unacceptable. Thank you.
Paldies. Mums ir laiks vēl jautājumam.
Thank you. We have time for another question, and please do introduce yourself. Dear ministers, good afternoon. In the center of Baku, near the Ahmed Garden, is a cafeteria called Raimond's. Raimond's Powell's song Million of Red Roses has been translated into Azerbaijani language. Our Latvian girl sang the song Sergelen in 2012 Eurovision contest in Baku. In 1980, the first in the world Azerbaijani International School was founded and opened its doors in Riga. Latvians are very much interested in building friendship with Azerbaijan. And here comes my question. Is it possible that Baku, following the example of two of its neighboring Caucasus countries, might lift the visa requirement to Latvian citizens? Could we have a visa-free travel to Azerbaijan? That's what Latvians are looking forward.
Yeah, of course it's possible. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible, and I think that we're working in this regard. We already extend for European Union visa regime, which is e-visa. You can do it without getting to via embassy, rather directly through the internet, and upon arrival just get it in the airport or in any other places whenever you decided to pass the borders of Azerbaijan. But it's not the end. I think I can tell you that one of the ideas which we're also negotiating to rid off totally the visa regime, it's part of the negotiations. Next week we're going to have again exchanges with the European Union in Baku, negotiations on security dialogue, but as well we are negotiating this partnership agreement with EU, and part of it, of course, will be extended that rid of visa regime for all, for example, I think that there was for 30-day stays. Yeah, 30-day stays for all kinds of passports. So far, we do not have any visa for diplomatic passports, with some countries including service passports, but for all kinds of passports for 30-day to rid of regime, it's in the pipeline, and as soon as we'll finalize this agreement, then it will be automatically solved. Thank you.
Liels paldies. Ar to arī press konferences noslēdzam. Paldies, ministrs kungi.
Thank you. This concludes our press conference. Thank you all.